What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles in the building. Welcome to tonight's show. Chevy, you want to say what up?
Hello, everyone. Long time no see.
Yes. We've been on break. We've had a nice little mini vacation. Not away from our own things. I've still been doing Monday night shows and Friday night shows. Chevy's still been doing Thursday night shows. I think he did a few lives as well in between times. So we've been doing plenty of work behind the scenes and in front of the cameras. But we are back for Styles and Chevy recap and review. So welcome back. We are going to be doing a show tonight or a movie tonight instead of going into a Marvel movie. But there's lots of Marvel connections here. So it's just a little mini break. But next week we will be back with Marvel's Moon Knight. So
Yes.
tonight this morning they had episode 2 drop, and just from watching episode 1, we needed to wait.
Yeah, it was. That's why I said we should wait because it's just
Yeah,
not enough. It's
yeah, it
not
was
enough.
just not enough content. I mean, I thought it was a good episode, not great, but I thought it was a good episode. And
I thought it was so different.
yeah, definitely
So different.
very different, very what's the word? Very I think they were trying to give us kind of a deep like dive without giving us a deep dive into just kind of like origin, right? So we're gonna explore that more next week with the first 2 episodes of Marvel's Moon Knight. But tonight we got you covered. We're gonna be reviewing Netflix's new sci-fi action flick, The Atom Project. It is a time travel caper full of high-profile actors and a couple of newcomers as well. But it's definitely full of action, some timey-wimey adventure, and we're going to discuss that. We're going to talk about it, and let's let us know what you guys think. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let us know what you think. We'll be reading your comments. We'll be answering your questions. Whatever you want to talk about on this movie, feel free to comment. We want to hear from you. Like I said, make sure you like, follow, share, subscribe, hit that notification, and let us know what you're thinking. All right, so let's get to it. Netflix's The Atom Project, starring Ryan Reynolds, Mark Ruffalo, Walker Scobell, and Jennifer Garner, right? Jennifer Garner
And Zoe Saldana
and Zoe Saldana. So
and that lady, she's somebody too. I just
yeah,
can't
yeah,
remember
the one
her
that
name.
plays Sorian. Yep,
Soren.
yep.
Sorian.
So we got a like I said, a star-studded cast, full of people that we know, a couple folks we don't know, but definitely will turn out to be a great movie.
Yeah,
Just
that
to
movie
go,
should have been in movie theaters.
yes, I totally agree. I was very shocked at how good this movie was for it to be a straight to stream production. Though, let's just gotta admit, Netflix, it does originals very well, right? They rarely miss when it comes to their bigger budget originals. So I definitely wasn't totally shocked. I just was just still kind of like taken aback, especially for such big names. I mean, this movie definitely could have done extremely well. I mean, I would say at least 300 million in
Yeah,
the
that
theater.
movie would have did well in theaters. And if Netflix could put a movie like Passing in the theaters for a limited release, I just couldn't see why they wouldn't do a dual release for. Because I'm watching a movie, I'm just like, this movie is. I'm sorry, I don't think the Netflix movies have been that great with big stars in it. To me, this is one of the better of them all.
Mm-hmm.
As a whole, I don't normally watch those movies anymore because they are usually not good
Okay.
to
Okay.
me. I
Gotcha.
mean, you know what I'm saying? For the acting caliber that they choose to put in the movies,
Right.
they not good enough. But that's why it took me a minute to watch this. But
Oh,
yeah, I think that movie could have done. They could have done a dual release on that, and they would have made more money.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And you know, let's be honest. I mean, Netflix keeps jacking up the prices, and now they want to start, you know, limiting sharing and all the other stuff. They need to start putting movies in theaters then, so that they can recoup whatever they think they're losing. Because stop taking it out of my budget.
Right, right.
You know, but definitely we're gonna break this movie down and let people know why they should definitely watch it. First, we're gonna start off with a spoiler-free review. And I'm sorry, folks in the chat. I know I just told y'all to comment and didn't even say that.
Hey y'all.
What up, though, Sonny? What up, though,
Hey
Clark?
Sonny.
Appreciate y'all for dropping by. Appreciate y'all for commenting. We're gonna break this down. So, spoiler-free review. Chevy, what did you think of the movie overall, and what did you rate it?
I rated that movie a 9. I had to collect myself. That movie, I was a mess after I finished watching this movie for many reasons that most people probably wouldn't have even like put together. But like, yes, this movie was much more than just like a family action film. It was very deep, and it really hit me in my feels.
Right, right. Yeah, that it did do that. I watched it twice and still was in the fields, you know, for a couple of good scenes. So definitely agree with that. And it looks like Sunny agrees as well, 9 as well, for sure, for sure. And overall with the acting, what was you thinking?
Oh, I mean, it's Ryan Reynolds, Zoe Saldana, Jennifer Garner, Mark Ruffalo. You know what I will say is that little boy was very impressive. He embodied the Ryan Reynolds persona.
Yeah, yeah.
He embodied what Ryan Reynolds brings to the table, and I thought that was so impressive. That really blew my mind. How he matched his comedic timing, and even before Ryan Reynolds' character came in. You know, all knew Ryan Reynolds was in there, but you know, we just thought it was gonna be a little boy being a little boy. But no, he was the little Ryan Reynolds.
Right, right,
Because
exactly.
that's a big shoe to fill. Not the character per se, but you know, Ryan Reynolds is like, I'm gonna say his name, a Will Smith, or a Denzel Washington, or an actor who not only is a character but also brings a persona to a character. And I think that little boy did a really good job of matching the persona that we expect when we see Ryan Reynolds in a film.
Yeah, yeah, and I definitely agree with that because I didn't understand what you meant because I think you mentioned this to me before or somebody mentioned this to me, but I think it was you that you know that he was doing a great job of being Ryan Reynolds as a kid in terms of how the character was reacting as well as how he was doing things. And at first I didn't quite get it, but then watching it that second time and I was really more paying attention and I was like, oh, I get it. It's, you know, like you said, the comedic timing, the reactions to the surroundings, things that are happening around him, his ability to kind of just, you know, uh play that role without being corny. You know what I mean? Like, you
Yes.
know, a lot of times little kids play these roles that are written for them in such a way to try to make them a little more mature or have a more mature sense of humor, but they don't quite pull it off. And this kid definitely, Walker Scobell, definitely pulled it off, did a great job of definitely embodying that same kind of, you know, quirky, very, very dark humor and all that kind of thing. Just some of the things that he was the lines he was pulling off and sounding like he would really say it. It didn't sound forced. So I definitely appreciated that. And yes, Sunny agrees as well. She says, "Fact, Chevy, he was a Ryan as a child and sold that."
Yeah,
And
he really
Clark
did.
said that the kid was hella dope. For
Yeah, he
sure.
was. I mean, I was very impressed because it's one thing for a kid actor to just be a good kid actor, but person who to play a character of an actor who is a larger than life personality and match that person's persona and
Right.
still act on top of that. I was super impressed by him.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Me too. Me too. Yeah. So, excuse me. I felt the same way about the movie. I originally gave the movie like a 7.5 or 8. After watching the second time and still feeling like it had a lot of great sci-fi value. It had a lot of great chemistry in all of the characters, even in the villains. Because at first I kind of felt like the villains were a little too lenient. You know what I mean? I still feel like they were, but like thinking about what they were trying to accomplish and what they were trying to do, all within parameters that they knew they couldn't control. I started to kind of get it. That it was like, okay, we can't play this crazy, but we got a job to finish. And then in terms of, like I said, with the kid really paying attention to what he was doing, Jennifer Garner, I mean, her playing the mother, I definitely appreciated her the first time around. You know, she definitely played that role really well. Like I felt like she did an awesome job of playing that role of embodying a grieving widow who's trying to keep it together for her kid, as well as, just kind of playing off the other actors between Walker and Mark Ruffalo. And even the scene that she had with Ryan, it was she did quite well. I love Zoe Saldana. Definitely, it was like the cheering moment when she showed up on the scene. So definitely, I love that part of it. Sorry, I'm giving a little bit of a spoiler away, but all in all, I think every actor really sold their role. So I definitely agree. I would definitely give it an 8.5, 9, after watching it that second time. And that's rare, when you can watch a movie, especially a movie that's,
on Netflix. I'm sorry. That's my caveat.
What was that?
On Netflix. I don't trust Netflix movies.
So. Yeah. I mean, and for me, I love Netflix movies and TV shows, specifically TV shows, but I love their projects. So, but second watches are usually not that great. You know what I mean? Because usually it's like, not that it's bad, but it's just like, okay, I've seen this already. It's not really much I'm getting from it other than I need to remember, more of it for a show, doing a recap or review show on it. But past that, it's not really much more that I usually pick up on those things. But this one, it was like, being able to pay more attention to certain things because I already had the action in mind, because I think the action gets you up front, which is what really sold me, because the action was top notch. It was definitely a lot of great sci-fi scenes, a lot of great cinematography, a lot of great special effects, a lot of great.
I mean, because before it got deep and I started crying, I was just impressed. I was impressed. I was
very impressed.
Whoa. I was like, whoa, what is this? Why is this on damn Netflix?
I mean, even scenes like this where they were at the house, they were just so well shot, so well done. Spacing was perfect. They were doing certain things with special effects and practical effects that just made sense and it didn't look cheesy. So I definitely loved, the scale of this movie, and that was another thing, for it to be such a, I would say a closed-in, smaller scale when it came to how they kind of did the story, kept, you got to think there was really only about 12, maybe 14 actors in the whole movie.
If that, yeah.
And
that's including the bullies.
And that's including the bullies and everything.
The principal.
right. Exactly. We didn't have a lot of characters with a lot of lines. We only had, I want to say, 5 scenes total, and I think they reused a couple of them several times. So so it was a very small scale production, but the movie felt so big. You know what I mean? And so they pulled that off very well. So all in all, definitely, it's on that high end. Definitely, if you have not watched this movie, watch it. It is so well worth it. Clark says Netflix has played us hard on the movies they put out, and I almost didn't watch the Adam Project. Yeah. Like I said, I've been happy with the movies, but I'm also very forgiving. Most people know I don't critique very hard, but I definitely will. I will give you low scores, in a heartbeat, but I still would give you benefits of the doubt in a lot of things. So
Yeah,
you
I
know,
haven't even never finished Extraction. I couldn't get into it.
oh, okay. See,
I never saw the Will Smith one.
Will Smith one.
And the Will Smith Blue or whatever the Netflix movie.
Oh, with the alien.
Yep,
I
never
thought
saw
that was
that.
a good movie. I enjoyed that movie. Yeah.
And the one with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah,
Mm,
Project Power. I enjoyed Project Power.
no, it was
And
alright. It was
yeah,
alright.
that one took me a while to watch though. That one took me a while. This one I was looking forward to just because I'm a huge time travel fan, a huge Ryan Reynolds fan, and I mean I'm a huge Jamie Foxx fan, but it was just the premise of the movie wasn't really like something that I was like jumping to see, but this one I was jumping to see it. So Sunny says it's well written. She says she says Extraction was good though, so she
I
did
couldn't
enjoy
get.
it.
I tried to watch the movie 4 times. Couldn't even get into
Uh-oh.
it.
Well, let's get into the spoilers. If you have not watched The Atom Project, make sure you go watch that. Come back and watch this later. But we are going to get into the spoilers. We're going to talk all about this movie, and let's get started. So, I mean, from the start, it was action. From the start, right? We had the big spaceship chase scene. We already got to see Ryan in his grand form of spitting one liners and insults and and being sarcastic. The bad guys after him, Christos and Sorian were after him, and the first thing we get to see is him blasting off into space, heading into the wormhole, and it was funny to me because I was thinking like they're already giving us this crash course in time travel, um, in a unique sense in terms of they're just kind of calling out things that are happening, things that they're doing in order to kind of give us an idea of how it's working, what works. That was one of the things I was afraid of was like how are they going to explain time travel in this movie, and what were they going to do to make it seem like it's their own thing. So seeing that part of it, I kind of liked it because it also makes sense because it is a practical theory that's out there that there's the ability to travel, and it's a recent theory a recently beefed up theory that's been put out about wormhole travel. So I definitely enjoyed that part of it. So the first couple of minutes, what were you thinking of this movie? From the gate.
I just was like, okay, so we got this kid, his father passed. Now we got this guy who's obviously in a different place in time. And it's Ryan Reynolds, and he's doing something he ain't got no business doing. He bleeding, he about to die. What is he doing? My
Yeah.
thing was, okay, so we know from the trailer that Ryan Reynolds and the kid are the same person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about, okay, so I know Mark Ruffalo plays his dad. How did his dad die? You know, is Jennifer Garner gonna see Ryan Reynolds? Is he going back in time to try to save his dad? Those are all the thoughts that I'm thinking of, because why is he willing to risk life and limb to go back in time at this point? So that's where I was with it. And also, why is this little boy such an asshole? Those are
Yes.
like, even though he's trying to embody Ryan Reynolds, like, you're not Ryan Reynolds, and technically he doesn't exist in this
Right.
world. So why are you such an asshole, kid? Like,
Yeah. I mean, just the especially as soon as he did his time travel trip. He gets there. The kid finds him in the garage, but we got to see him interacting with the mother first, and it was like already apparent, right? It was clearly apparent that this kid is like is trouble. At first it kind of showed him off as being this bullied kid, maybe not very a well understood. The mom comes to his rescue and all that kind of stuff, and then she's like already on him like, I know it's your mouth, I know what you probably said something to get your ass
see,
punched.
that don't mean nothing. She, people can say what they want to say. That don't mean you got to punch them in the face. Okay. That don't mean you got to punch them in the face.
Right.
But
Or slapping, right? Or slapping in front of
but
people. But
dang, that's gonna be a thing forever, man.
right,
But
right. Don't slap them in front of their friends.
right.
But yeah, definitely. You could already tell that there was something up with this kid, and then we saw the interactions, and then he goes finds Ryan, and the first thing I was thinking when he found Ryan is the interactions between him and the kid progressed quickly into him being um, very short, very frustrated with the kid. You
Like he
know,
hated his younger self.
right? But we didn't know that at first, right? We didn't realize that.
Well, I kind of gathered that, like most men who were picked on in school when they were younger, that he did everything he could to shun that personality, and now he, muscular, and he is pilot, and you know what I'm saying. He probably get all the girls. You know what I'm saying.
Right.
He did all of those things to shun that childhood version on himself. So I instantly, when I saw how he was interacting with himself, I was like, oh, he one of them. He
Mm.
mad at the world because of how his life was when he was a child,
Right. Right.
and now
Yeah.
he's faced with his childhood self, and he doesn't want to tell him much, because if he does, then he may change the course of history, because at the time we didn't know that he wasn't there because of them at all.
Right.
He was there for self. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't want to talk to him. He didn't want to tell him, hey, man, you need to do this, you need to do that, so we can have a better version of life. So, with that being said, what would make you even more frustrated looking at your childhood self that you grew to hate because of how you had to live, than not being able to tell your childhood self to do this, or this?
Right. Do better.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So just get out of my face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 Agreed. Agreed. Fully agreed. Fully agreed. Yeah. I definitely, after a while, that was apparent. After a while into it, that was definitely apparent. It was definitely one of those things, one of those themes in this movie that was definitely different than most movies, because, like you said, most of the time you want to tell your younger self, hey, it's like, how would you want to act with your younger self? What would you want to tell them? How would you want them to be reshaped in such a way that maybe you don't go through the same trials and errors, or maybe you don't go through the same, uh, uh, issues and challenges. And he literally felt like, I need to go through this trauma. I need to go through this growth, this hard growth.
So I can
Maybe
be the man
maybe
I
not
am.
treat everybody badly behind it, but for the most part, I need to suffer. I need to go through this. I need to go through that. Like when he with the bullies, he let the bullies beat him up, beat himself up. And he's like, you had to lose that fight. You had to, you can't just go from being you to me without doing or suffering this, and that's real, and that's real. If we really think about it, that's real. That's why when you hear people, especially more mature people, when they say, what would you change about either your past, your childhood, or how whatever you went through, and they'll say, I want to make all the same mistakes, or I want to have all the same failures. I want to have similar failures, whatever the case may be, to make them stronger, more resilient, more focused. Maybe it was what they needed to get them to the cut, ripped person that they are, the more smarter version of themselves, because maybe they know that they wouldn't apply themselves as much if they had it so easy, or they knew what was coming, that kind of thing. So it was a very different and unique way of telling that kind of story.
Yeah, I agree, but in a different way. What I learned from this movie was, it's a saying that you have to demonize people to let them go. And I feel like a lot of the times, because we don't have another option, we can't go back in the past and talk to our childhood self. We accept our circumstances as they are, because we think that they've made us something better than we would have been without the trauma. And so we lean into those feelings of whatever they are that made us that way. And we may be successful. We may cry ourselves to sleep at night. We may be the man or the woman of the hour and the time, but we may be mean as hell. And we may say those things because we'll never have an opportunity to go back. But what I realized in this movie is maybe it's not what we would go back and tell our 12-year-old selves, but what our 12-year-old selves would tell us.
Mm.
Because when we made those decisions, we did them when we were those ages. So like the scene where, they go back in the past and they talking to his dad, and they sit at the table and he trying to tell his younger self about how his dad was so awful. And he said, let me tell you why, I don't like my dad. And he was just like, you don't know. I can tell you why. He was like, why? Because you made yourself hate him
Mm-hmm.
because you missed him. And it was easier to be mad than sad. And when things like that happen to us, when you 12 and you 35 or 40 now, you didn't have to make yourself okay with however you chose to deal with whatever it is that you went through.
Right.
And you've had to wrap it up in whatever it is. But if you go back to your childhood self can literally tell you, oh no, we did this because of this. We did this because of that. We did this because they hurt us. And this was the way we protected ourselves. But
Right.
now, in order to keep ourselves believing it, we have to demonize that person. When he started talking about how his dad played catch with him, and he couldn't even remember those moments because he had to forget those moments in order to be able to just be mad. Because, I told somebody the other day, we was at work and I was talking about work. And I was like, I was really trying to be positive today. And I was really trying to, do my job. Because normally I just get mad. But, knowing how they doing me at work, it just made me sad. And I'd rather be mad than sad because being sad hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I feel like this movie was so much more than just a time travel movie and just a, action film, because Ryan Reynolds' character truly was able to go back in the past and be released of the trauma that created the man he was today. And I just thought that was so beautiful.
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree that he learned a lot from his younger self in terms of what he thought his life was like, or what he thought, how bad he thought things were, and how much better he thought he was well off for it. We saw a couple of times where he acknowledged that, and he reconciled with that. I definitely felt like it was a central theme in the movie. It was definitely a lesson that he had to learn. I looked at it. I looked at it from the standpoint I was just saying, but I also looked at it from a standpoint of the things that he was trying to tell him that he did need to change, like
How he talked to his mom.
Exactly, accepting his mother's role in this more, which she's actually trying to do for you versus what you think you see her doing. His whole situation of trying to basically get his dad's approval while also trying to prove a point. You know what I mean?
Right. Because the way he remembers his life is not actually what it is. So he's fighting against people that he hates, but they don't get it because that's not what the case is, and nor has it ever been. Right. So he fighting a fight that's gonna make him look crazy, and that's why he looks crazy, because his younger version of himself, like, that's not true, because you know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen dad before you have. You know what I'm saying? He died a year ago. Like, I seen him just a year ago, and that's not the case. Like, you need to calm down, and because you're fighting a losing battle, because you don't even know what you fighting for. You just trying to fight because you mad and you don't know how, and all you are is mad. You just built up with, all you filled up with now is anger. And the only person that you do love is the reason why you're here.
Right.
Because he couldn't. Now, I'm not saying that his younger version of himself wouldn't have helped him if he would have told him, "Oh, I'm not here because I care about, talking to you," or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was very like I'm here for self, and this just so happened to happen, and this is the only place I knew that I could go. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right,
because he didn't want to save the world. He wanted to save his girl.
right. Exactly, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think deep down, when it all came to it, before he got there, he knew that his life was filled with things that he did wrong, but things he assumed others did wrong to him,
Yeah, and
or
gave him excuse to be the way he was.
exactly, exactly.
Because his
So
life was kind of trash,
yeah,
actually.
I mean, yeah. Bottom line,
Zoe was the only thing that was good in his life.
yeah, yeah. Bottom line. So I think his like you said, his perspective. Luckily he landed in 2022 and was able to pick up his younger self that had better perspective. That was right in the middle, in the thick of losing the father but not losing himself yet.
Yes.
Being open to listening to what he had to say, and then getting that lesson. I just want to go back to the comments real quick. Clark was agreeing with me about the hardships in life that you still need to go through. He said that that's the only way you learn to live, or you learn life. And then he says, for me, I'm glad I did whatever I did, because I might not be here right now. Sonny says, yes, that childhood memory is better than our adulthood, but we forget we live it then and remember it now. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things I mean, a lot of us do that. We suppress things, right? Traumas, tragedies, things like that. We try to suppress those unconsciously a lot of times.
But I mean, it's one thing. That's the crazy part about people and how our brains work. I
Mhm.
I understand, like, that we suppress things for traumatic purposes, but to literally suppress good memories
Good for
so
bad.
you can
Mm-hmm.
create a narrative that can allow for you to stand on your bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Because
no,
that's what he did. And he blamed everything in his life on that, on
right,
his dad. It's your fault, dad. It's your fault. If you was here, well, even if you was here, you wouldn't be here anyway. So I still be getting kicked out of school. I still had to go to the Navy. I still, you know what I'm saying?
right,
Because I'm
right.
sitting here like Sorian is like, should be like your godmama or whatever. Like, how you had to go through all of that and kind of come into her program and be like, hey, I'm just a pilot. Like, you should have been, you know what I'm saying? You should have been
Mhm.
set up. Because I was thinking she killed him, the
I know. I
dad.
was thinking that too the whole time. I'm like, did she secretly kill the dad too? To get that power.
Because I'm just like, it's not making sense why, he knows Sorian or whatever, but he never like reaped any of the benefits of that time travel program taking off.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah. See, I'm trying to think what's next. So the actually, I just want to skip ahead to the because we already talked about the bullies. We saw them go through the whole thing of him walking him through the whole fact that he had to go through that. He also, tried to still protect himself in the end. He wanted himself to fight that bully, and then after he ran off, after the young Adam ran off, he goes and confronts the bully anyway, and throws him up against the wall and all that, and threatens his life. Which I thought was funny. Because bottom line, we still would like to protect ourselves in the end.
Yeah, because he ain't gonna let them. He ain't about to let them bullies bully him. He know what he done been through, and he know what it shaped him to. Now, yeah, he gonna tell him you had to go through that, but I don't care what nobody say. Everybody can sit here and say I'll go through what I had to go through because you don't have no choice. But I truly believe every person, if they had an opportunity to go back in the past and heal their traumas,
Mhm.
stop themselves from doing something that made them stronger but left them messed up in a way, they would stop it. And that's exactly what he did. He knew what that last fight did to him and
Right.
how long it took for him to move past it. And that's why he did what he did to himself. But he went and fixed it in a way that technically he kind of would never even find out about. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, because he left himself thinking like, oh, well, you just let me get beat up and didn't even try, And he's like, well,
Yeah, because he never told him what he did. He
no,
made him believe that this was a part of his life. But
mm,
now he's gonna go back to school, and because you notice at the end when he had his deja vu moment, he didn't get suspended.
right,
He
yeah,
went to school. So them
mhm,
boys left him alone,
yeah,
but he don't know why.
right. They probably barely know why. They just know, just don't mess with him.
Right.
Don't mess with Reed.
Right.
For sure, for sure. So yeah, um, so yeah, after the bully incident and them finally, getting everything together that they needed to try to, let older Adam, start to heal, they get found.
Yeah.
So Sorian shows up, Sorian and Crystal show up, and we see the big battle scene, that big battle scene, get to see the lightsaber in action, and then our favorite girl pops in, and Zoe Saldana saves the day,
I
revealing that
love seeing
she's
her with regular like face.
a regular face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get tired
true.
of looking at green and blue and cartoon version of herself,
Right, right.
know.
Yeah. It's very rare we get to see her
As regular.
as a regular human being. That's true. That's very true. Yeah, definitely very true. I definitely can appreciate that. Um, I think that she did a great job playing that role, especially for playing someone that's going to be married to Ryan Reynolds' character, and
But
still
she never
having
let on that he was not, you know, until he opened his mouth and told us that his life wasn't good. We never knew. And we never would have known.
mm-hmm,
We would have just thought he was doing an act of love to save his wife. We wouldn't have known that his life was a shitstorm anyway. And him doing that was not out of the norm. And that's why the conversation went the way it did in the beginning. You
right,
know what I'm saying? Because, oh, here he go again. Just want to throw his life away.
right,
We told you the girl was dead. Why is you doing all of it? You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
Versus just shooting him out shooting him out the air or arresting him or whatever. He a troublemaker. He's been
right,
a troublemaker his whole life, but she never alluded to that. Nor did you know what I'm saying? She
mm-hmm,
she loved that man
right.
than his crazy self.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I was shocked to see her still alive, after whatever must have happened in 2018 and what they thought they did to her. So that was cool. It was also a cool little battle scene, going back and forth with them fighting the guards or whatever. And then,
I love the part where the little boy like, oh my god, because he saw how he died and he was like, oh, when you die in the future, it's way worse.
right, exactly. Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. And
Yeah.
then the only thing I was mad, the other part that I liked was when she finally got them to leave and head back to the ship, and then she was waiting on Sorian's guys to show up, and she blew up the truck. That was dope. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was. I also like her interaction with seeing because he been hiding who he was from her.
Right.
She married him willingly, but he rarely probably talked to. That's why she was like, "Oh, so this is you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep.
it all makes sense
That all
now."
makes sense now, right? Exactly. Sonny agrees. She said yes.
Oh man, but yeah, like her little scene. The weirdest thing about her scene where they went back to her house that she was staying in was like their whole like passionate moments, and the boy just sitting in the back seat and not saying anything.
Right. Exactly.
Oh yeah, so she died, right?
Yeah.
So
That was
she
messed up. But it was like it made sense at the same time because he like we were saying about the the point in time reference, you know. And
Yeah.
then, we and actually that's what I forgot to mention is that he did finally give us their theory of time, their theory and rules of time travel, and how it differed from other movies and things like that, where they believe in a quantum point in time, basically similar to the Marvel method of you start from one point and you branch off. So what you do does not affect the past or the past in such a way that it affects your self, because this becomes your future. Now where you are is your future.
And then when
So
you
you get
come back there, you merge to your
you
original
merge back to your
self,
original point. Yeah,
just
exactly.
with whatever changes. You don't even realize the changes even happen. They just
Exactly.
happen, and you live your life
Yeah.
as if they,
As if nothing ever happened. Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, so that was, that was cool. They did give us that breakdown, which made more sense for, her situation with her dying and him being okay with that. Not okay with it, but you know what I mean, had to, live with it, like, okay, it is what it is, because hopefully if we're successful, you won't die for nothing. You'll be back where I need you to be and back in our point in time.
Right.
So yeah, they end up back
So,
at the ship. He gets young Adam to turn the ship on. They shoot back to 2018. Meet up with Dad.
and
Uh,
Dad is an asshole.
yes, I was like, I see where they get it from.
I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense now. It
Yeah, but
makes sense.
not only does it make sense, though, I thought about, but it kind of speaks to the situation of him being a scientist, right? He's very matter of fact, practical, black and white. Everything's practical, matter of fact, black and white. You can't veer off, can't do things. You can't get emotionally tied to certain things. Although he has an emotional connection to his family, but only when he has his family like right there in front of him.
But I will say this: they knew their son. Both of them did.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
knew their son.
yeah.
They loved him.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them, because Jennifer Garner knew that was her son too.
Yeah, it finally hit her after she sat there and kept talking to him. She's like, "Wait a minute, like,
Yeah,
like
she's like, that was my boy.
That's right, that's my boy. That's my boy." and, and that was what was funny to me about the whole situation, because most movies like this, people don't get it until it's revealed to them.
But I think they live their lives a little bit differently, because she married a scientist who studied that, who talked about things that normal people wouldn't believe all the time.
Right, true that.
And I mean, by that time in the movie, like, even though they didn't talk about it, maybe, Sorian had already started, building upon whatever he had already did.
No. Remember, he said he had just achieved the wormhole thing in about 4 weeks earlier or something like that. So he already understood and had started to kind of rationalize the ability to do the time travel. So he kind of already understood at that point. It hadn't been built upon yet, but it was in his mind. He already knew that it was possible. He just didn't know how yet. He just didn't know the how.
Okay.
So yeah, so they did kind of talk about that, because that's why he asked them initially. He was like, "Hey, is this time travel?" Because he had already kind of, like you said, he had already kind of broke it down in his mind that quick, that okay, something's up here.
But he had already built the quantum accelerator, though, and it was housed at Sorian's massive compound.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially for this time and age.
Yeah, 2018, that place was huge.
Right. Now, the funny thing to me, and I don't know if you're familiar with, is the Hadron Collider. It actually looked like the Hadron Collider.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so there's they take they smash electrons together in this giant facility underground, which has been kind of I want to say it was either around 2016 or 2012, in that time space, when they first kind of like put it online. But it brought up a lot of ethical questions of doing such experiments inside of the earth, because it was, I forgot how far down it is. It's like 10 stories, 20 stories down. and they're doing these experiments that literally could tear quantum holes into the into the into the earth. And I mean, and it's a real thing. It's really happening right now. So that's what it reminded me of is something like that. I mean, of course, it looks more futuristic in this movie than the actual Hadron Collider does in real life. I have to bring up a picture of that, but it's definitely something that's feasible. It's definitely feasible. But yeah, Sonny also mentioned that they looked alike. They looked. Oh no, it said he looked at them and about the whole time travel thing, and then but they had also used the collider, or the not collider, but
the accelerator.
The accelerator, yeah, because he had talked about them doing the experiment. So yeah, so it's it was on his mind. It was fresh on his mind, and then like you said, but the wife, I think she knew because of the way things that he had said.
Yeah, and then he said that thing, I don't know how much. He loves you. He doesn't even know how much. Yeah. And I mean, you can try somebody. But look at here. He had just said that to her that morning. So
Right.
But I thought that I was like, damn, he done punched his daddy in the face.
I know that was crazy.
In the face.
That was crazy.
He punched him back. But I'm mad they made Mark Ruffalo do the rest of that scene with the blood pack in his mouth.
Right, exactly. That was funny. It was just so funny to me because he punches him and he's like, we don't hit each other in this family.
And then he said, pow! He jumped up. Well, he did like a dance move to punch him.
Exactly. He had to jump punch him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was crazy. Okay, so this is the Large Hadron Collider. This is what the middle of it looks like. Wow. So yeah, that you can, if you can actually, let me zoom in a little bit. You can see here a little bit more detail. Those are actually people down in that little space.
That seemed like that is like cancer room.
Yeah,
just being in there.
Yeah, it's pretty daunting. Pretty daunting when you think about it. And so yeah, this is let me show you real quick. Sorry, I'm off on a tangent over here. It pays to be a nerd. So yeah, so as you can see here from this, it's 100 kilometers. Is the size that they want to make it. The current one is 27 kilometers. So it's pretty big. Up under the earth. Big. Yeah. So they definitely are doing some wild things over there, and some people want them to stop. They're like, what are you doing? But anyway, it's science though, right? Got to keep going. We got to keep exploring. What up though, Smooth in the building?
Hey, Smooth.
So yeah. So after he has that conversation with them about him not wanting to change the future, wanting to stick to the protocols and the ideas, that the theories that they had already about how they would govern time travel and all that kind of stuff, and them wanting to or not wanting them to tamper with time. They're like, you know what, forget it. If you're not going to help us, we're going to go do our own.
Ryan Reynolds kept telling him it don't matter. Sorian has already tampered with time, so you helping us do what we doing ain't no different. But he still didn't want to do it. Oof.
Yeah, I know that part was a little frustrating because I'm like, why aren't you listening to them? Like, they're making it quite evident that
that's his son, that's his child.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. Yeah. And to him, he looking at him not like as grown man, his son. He looking at him like, because his son younger than he is the one that's there with him. He 2-3 years younger. So he like, y'all better shut up.
Yeah, right.
Talking to me like that. But yeah, so they they go back to the hotel. Mm-hmm. He trying to get him to help him because he kind of say he might help him, but then he get there and he's just like, nah, I can't do this. This not gonna work. I changed my mind. he ended up leaving, but the younger uh son wanted to tell him he died, and he wouldn't let him.
Right.
But we already talked about the scene where the they were talking to each other here, and he tried to tell him all about how his dad was and how he was
Mhm.
this, that, and the other. And he basically like, no, we started hated him because we missed him, and it was easier to be mad than sad.
Right.
And talking to him about but it was so funny because he like, yeah, because I bet I remember stuff you don't even remember. And he's like, oh yeah, what? And then he was like, you remember the pitch back? And he like, yes, I do. And he telling him like, Dad used to come out there every night and play pitch with us. He's like, no, he didn't, because he got that because just so he could do the opposite. And he like, no, he didn't.
Right.
Like, it didn't matter how tired he was. It didn't matter how busy he was. He would come out there and he would play with us every night. And then he was just sitting there looking stupid. He was
Mhm.
just sitting
Right.
there
Right.
looking stupid. Because,
And,
but
and
I mean, that is so deep though. When you really think about it, it's really deep how we forget things, good or
yes.
bad.
Yes.
But when you forget good things to create a narrative, it's really crazy. It's crazy. And you stand on that. Somebody can literally be telling you in your face, like, no, that is not how that happened. That is not what happened. You
Mhm.
are sadly missing. Yourself could be telling you.
Right. Exactly.
And
And,
you still gonna stand on your soapbox with yourself.
and like you said, that's the thing, is that we sometimes do that, out of that need to to not be in one situation in our psyche, or in our feelings, or in our emotions, and trying to overcome those emotions, not wanting to be sad, so you create this narrative. Some people do the opposite. They create good narratives, even though, like, no, bro, you was abused. Your dad used to come home and beat the shit out of you every week. It's like, oh man, I just remember, always being home, getting cuddles. Like, yeah,
Right, right. But
poking
people
you
do
out every night.
coping
Coping
mechanisms
mechanisms.
and how they work in our minds. Like, it's crazy when you literally say this guy is literally talking to himself, arguing with himself about what his self experience was.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the craziest part about this scene to me. It's like when you're a child, when you're a young person, you decide these things. You decide how you're going to deal with things. And
Mhm.
then when you get old, you kind of left with the bag, and you can't never pinpoint it unless you go to therapy why you actually chose to deal with things this way. And you don't have the opportunity to hash it out with your younger self. You don't have the opportunity to sit there and go back and forth with yourself and tell yourself what you remember and what you don't, and try to tell. And that was just a beautiful scene to me because, whenever somebody is asked the question of, what would you they either try to be so deep and say they wouldn't tell them anything, or
Mhm.
they run a laundry list down and say what they would. But this movie made me realize that when you're younger, if you haven't went through trauma yet,
Mhm.
you are still so open to the world and to who you want to be, and the just more free with your emotions, more
Right.
free with your thoughts. And if somebody asks you a question, you're gonna be open and honest. You don't have to run around in circles. You don't have to tell 50 million answers to get to the right one. You can cut and dry. And I think we know it all because we've done it all, right?
Right.
But it is so much that your younger version of yourself could offer you. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? And I just thought that was it's so deep. Like, in the future, they could literally have therapy where it's like you go back in time and sit down with your younger self to pinpoint
Oh yeah,
where
just to pinpoint childhood traumas, or
yeah,
childhood issues. Yeah, yeah, that would be.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, or even if it's not, it's your mind and it's your subconscious, but they could do like a VR therapy
Mhm.
where they
Yeah. In the
literally allow for
metaverse.
you to confront your demons and your issues so you can release that. I just thought that was so deep. Like, the movie is great, but
Yeah.
just those concepts and thinking about those things and thinking about how we get so wrapped up in whether it was a major or minor thing that happened in your life, how we get stuck and fixated on that, and it creates a version of us that we no longer are, and then we walk around trying to tell people how it is, and then if you got to talk to yourself, you be like, "That's not how it is."
Right,
I
right.
literally been standing on this soapbox my whole life. Like this is my, like I sell this cologne, I sip this tea, I eat this food. Like this is me now, and you mean to tell me that this whole time I was wrong? Like,
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, pretty much. Not only wrong, but just sadly mistaken. Like, just just like man, and like you said, sometimes not even realizing it because you've created this narrative and you live in it. You know,
mm-hmm,
so definitely, definitely. Sonny says, see things as they actually were versus what we choose to remember.
mm-hmm,
Exactly,
yep.
exactly. Yep. So after the hotel scene, they finally come up with their plan. They get their stuff together and they head on over to the Saurian building, and we get to see young Adam get into his bag. He's got the little gadgets, and then older Adam decides to go in and try to figure out how to get into the building. Gets ambushed
But
by the
also, you
guards.
know what else happened too? Oh, her future self came to see her again,
Oh, right, right, exactly.
and I thought this was another opposite of what like Ryan Reynolds was standing on. He was standing on the bullshit of like, I'm gonna suppress my memories and only take this hate. But her character was manipulated by her future versions of herself, controlled her 2018 version of herself by basically telling her, "Oh, you don't have no friends, you don't have no family, you don't have nothing, you don't have nobody. That's why we gotta go this hard. That's why we
Right,
gotta run these risks. That's why we gotta take these chances." You know what I'm saying?
right.
Trying to convince herself that, you know, not because she was hurting. She
Mm-hmm.
chose to pursue, you know, that goal of becoming this powerful woman in the world instead of having a family and doing those things. So to steer the course, of keeping her on that path, she used that as a something to keep her in a chokehold
Right.
by telling her that she'll never have it. So what's the point of trying to get it? No, we need to get this bag. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly, exactly. We need to have this power. We need to be able to get what we want out of this. Not let our lives be for naught.
Right, because right now you're not a jaded woman. You're just working hard. But I'm going to turn you into a jaded woman because I know that that's the only way I can make you do these bad things. If you hate and you're angry at the world that didn't do anything to you, you made a choice.
Right,
But it's like making excuses for the choices that you've made and then trying to like convince yourself that, yeah, nah, but this is why I'm killing people. You know what I'm saying? Because I gotta be powerful woman, I gotta run the world. You know what I'm saying?
right, right, exactly.
You gotta be bad. Everybody else bad. I mean, I just do what everybody else doing.
Sonny said she was doing it for all the wrong reasons. Oh,
Yeah, and standing on her
hey
bullshit
DJ
to make
Stacey
it
J,
so.
appreciate you for joining us and getting subscribed again to us. Make sure everybody else like, subscribe, follow. We need all the support we can get. We
All
appreciate
the
y'all.
love. All the love.
So yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, like you said, bottom line, she was kind of using the reverse on herself to
Mm-hmm.
get herself going into that wrong direction. So
Yep.
yeah, definitely was an interesting take on how they were, trying to convince themselves or the other people in their lives on how to do things and how to live life.
Right. So after the daddy left, after Mark Ruffalo left the hotel, did you think he knew that he was gonna die?
I felt like he knew as soon as they both kind of showed up at the school. Like I felt, because you got to think, like in that situation, he's like, okay, they don't travel back in time, but they both seem so, you know what I mean? They just seem so shocked to see him, or you know what I mean. It's not like a, hey, we just left you and you told us to do this.
Right.
It
And
was like,
also, why am I
oh,
not in
man,
any of the
it's
stories?
you. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm
Like,
not in any of the stories.
exactly. I'm not. They've never mentioned that one thing about me.
They have not said, and you know, I thought it was funny that the whole time they was talking about Sorian and everything that she had did, he never was like, yeah, so what was I doing?
Exactly. So what was I doing during all this? What did I say? You know, that'd be the first thing I'll be asking.
Yeah, I'll be like, so
Sorry and took my stuff. Oh, well, why
how
didn't
she
I
take my
stop
stuff
her?
with
You
me?
know.
Like,
Sorian's in control. Well, what about me?
yeah, because that'd be my first when they were standing outside before the punches happened. I'd be like, wait a minute, how Sorian get my stuff?
Exactly. Oh, good point, Sonny. Sonny says she thinks he knew once he saw the watch. He just didn't let on until he finally did. And you got to think both young Adam and old Adam had the watch on, so it's like,
and maybe that was in his will.
Maybe, like, right, or just he just knows, like, hey, I don't never take this watch, or I don't never go nowhere without my favorite watch.
Damn, that's a good point.
Very good point, Sonny. Very good point. And I mean, because it was a couple things that was dead giveaways: the jacket, the watch,
yep.
the
hook.
The way they reacted, like you said, them not ever mentioning him in any of these wild outlandish stories. You know, it's like, where am I in all this? You know, obviously not there. Why am I not there? Yeah, so like I said, even young Adam noticed that older Adam had the same watch. So it was like, okay, you know, not just the same watch, but the watch, you know.
Yeah.
So, like, you know. So yeah, so I definitely think he knew, like, out the gate. He literally knew out the gate. It was just a matter of, did he really want to know or not? And I think that was what he fought with for a minute. Was like, okay, do I ask them? Do I not ask them? I know I shouldn't, but you know what I mean? So I think it was just that. That was
Yeah. So he went home and talked to Jennifer Garner, and I just love this scene. Jennifer Garner knows she that one. I love Jennifer Garner. Jennifer Garner is so great. She is.
Yes.
But that whole scene, and she basically was just like, you know, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be there. You have to be his dad. You know, we understand that you do your work, and you know, yes, your son is a little neglected, but when you're with us 100%. But when you're not, right. And you need to do more. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. You know, and I'm not mad at you for it. I understand. Right. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to do more, all you got to do is do more. He don't want a perfect father. There is no perfect father. It's a line from that movie Room where the little boy was just like, you know, all I want you to do is be mom. Mom, I just want you to be mom. You don't have to be perfect. And I think, you know, we get so, you know, boggled down what we think is desirable, but kids don't. They just want somebody to be there and love them and be present in their lives. Exactly. Hug them, cook something to eat for them, play with their toys with them. That's all. And, you know, societally, societally, yeah. It gets a little tough. And I don't have kids, but, you know, I talk to my friends with kids, and it's tough. You know, trying to live within your means that you have for yourself, but also meet the standards of society in a way where your kids don't feel neglected, and not neglected with what you bring to the table as a human being as well.
Well, you know, I look at it like this. I mean, it's not even just society; it's just ourselves. Yeah. I mean, me as a parent, you know, I got 6 kids, I got grandkids, and at every step of the way, every level, I've always felt like either I wanted to do more or do something different or make some adjustment, try to be a better father. Because, you know, I'm looking at, you know, I got big shoes to fill from my father, my father-in-law, a friend of mine's father, you know, even some of my friends who are fathers, you know, looking at what they do. And it's like, you feel like Sean's a big example of that. You know, me and him our kids are basically the same age. My youngest son and his daughters, his twin daughters, are like basically the same age. And, you know, so we're watching each other raise kids at the same time. But, you know, some things that I do, he's like, man, I wish I could do that and do that for my kids. And then I look at him like, man, I wish there's some things that you do that could do for my kids. And I'm sure both our kids are doing just fine. Don't have no issues with the way we're being parents. But it's always that perception of ourselves and that we may not be doing enough, or at least the good parents feel that way. We're trying our best to step up to some plate that's always moving.
Right.
My first thing when I was a young father was trying to be the father that my dad was to me. Just being there. Just if I was going somewhere, my kids going with me. If I had something to teach them, I'll let them know, or whatever the case may be. Now, there were certain things my dad didn't do because he didn't have the means or the ability. So that made me start stepping up to, I need to be able to do such and such because my dad couldn't do this for me. Me and my sister, seeing like my father-in-law take care of grandkids while he worked and did his own thing. So then I'm sitting there working. My daughter's like, can you watch my son? I'm like, of course. I got to work and take care of my grandson. You know what I mean? Because I watched my father-in-law do it for years, So it's like we always have this moving target, you know what I'm saying? Because of something in our mind or in our, personality that says, you know what, I'm not doing enough, and sometimes we aren't. Like when I had first got married, I was in the mindset of I'm a provider, I got to do whatever I can. Cause I remember my dad telling me, when I was young and you guys were babies, and then my other son was a baby, I worked my butt off, so that way I could provide, I wasn't always home, but I provided. And, forgetting that, spending time was important too. And, I learned early on, like, I can't just be a provider. I can't just be a paycheck. My kids need somebody who's going to be there to spend time, get them advice, spend time with them, take them places, be that backbone for the family when, things need to be done. And, so I had to learn that, so I think that, we always have these, ideas of what we should be doing,
right?
Even if we are doing just fine, like there's no perfect parents. I'm sure my father was not perfect. I mean, of course, we butted heads when I was a kid. He butted heads with his parents and his aunts and uncles who raised him. Same with my father-in-law. He always talked about, certain things with his mom. He never mentioned his dad. So, and I know his dad was there. So apparently there was either some shortcoming he felt or something that he didn't feel was, enough. Everybody's got that. So,
So by the end of that, after having a conversation with his wife, he decided that he was going to help them stop, whatever was happening, because he needed to be there for his kids. And that was his act of being there for his kids, or his son, because he only got one, even though it's two there. That was his act of being there for his son. Yeah. Showing up in that moment that he needed him to help him take down Sorian.
Right.
So, like you were saying, young Adam got to test out his game. I mean, play his game.
Right. His game playing skills.
But in real life. And Ryan, what is this child's name in this show?
Oh, Walker Scobell.
Walker? Was that okay? He got to, they got there, they ain't had no plan. The plan that they did have was stupid. And it was obviously a setup.
Right.
But they went in there anyway, and we get another great action scene that's interrupted by a dad's love.
Exactly.
Mark Ruffalo coming there, crashed the car,
literally almost killed that man. He was not happy with it.
And they go into the building to, save the day.
Yes. So they had their big, well, I wouldn't say big showdown. They just had their big conversation. Like, hey, he's like, you're really here. He's like, yeah, I'm here to help. And then he started to go off on a tangent. He's like, just focus. Right. Stop being a scientist. Be my dad and help me get this done. And so they go into the building, head down to the collider, or I don't know what the thing is called, the reactor room or whatever, so they can get to the hard drive. And because he's like, basically, the formula is in my head and on this hard drive. That's it. That's time travel. So they get down in there, take the hard drive out, and then Sorian shows up. She kidnaps young Adam.
Because they didn't forgot him.
right, because they forgot he's outside exposed. And then they have another big battle inside of the I don't even know what this room is called.
the metal.
But I got a picture.
Non-metal room. The non-metal room.
Right. Is the I guess it was a collider. So
she had her logo on everything. Let me tell you.
Right, she was not playing.
She was not playing. This is owned, facilitated, operated, and distributed by.
Right. So they had their big fight. Cool. One of the cool scenes I liked on that one was when young Adam figured out how to use the lightsaber and flew to the thing, grabbed the gloves, and they came back off, lands on the thing. He's like superhero landing.
Yes. Then he got punched. He's like, "You ever got your ass whipped by a 12-year-old?" and then his older self was like, No. And then he got knocked the hell out. And he was like, "Oh my God."
Right.
Me. You can't say this boy. You got to be like me. Why? What is wrong with me? Right, who do I think I am? Like, so, all hell breaks loose because I guess that thing can't have no metal by it or something.
Oh no, they shot the glass and created a what do they call it, what do you call that thing? Like
I don't know, because
the magnetic field collapsed.
Okay.
Yeah, the magnetic field collapsed and started sucking everything into the collider, all the metal, including the suits that those guys were wearing.
Everything.
The guns, the gloves, everything was getting sucked over there. So that was hilarious.
So then they have this ridiculous showdown in this room that's literally falling apart. Didn't make sense to me. And she's trying to stand behind herself with a gun, like, "Do it! I need you to do it! I need
right.
you to shoot him! Shoot him!"
Right. Exactly.
And then she like, "Look, I ain't shooting him. I can't do it." And she's like, "I'll do it." And they like, "Okay, we'll do it."
Right.
do what you got to do. And then she killed herself. She shot herself.
By mistake.
Well, I don't see how she did that by mistake unless she didn't know them bullets was made out of metal.
Well, she didn't, like he said, she didn't understand the science that, all this metal flying around. Like, even though I think he said it like, "Oh, this is a metal piercing bullet." She wasn't thinking like, "Oh, this has a metal core, so it's going to be magnetized." And her younger self just happened to be, standing
right in the damn way.
Yeah, always standing in the way. What were they thinking?
Right. So she died, and I said good because she the reason why time travel ended up messing up the world. He gonna say, "You seen Terminator? That's the future on a good day."
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Oh man.
Which I thought was funny because it's like it reminded me of Back to the Future and how Biff totally destroyed the future by taking over everything and messing everything up. So just kind of reminded me of the same situation.
Because I believe that if she wouldn't have been the one in charge, it probably wouldn't have been like that.
Right. Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, she definitely had too much of an influence on the future and messed it all up. So yeah. Good riddance.
Right. She really did. So they saved the day, and they go back to the family home, which is beautiful. Their house is nice.
I know, yeah. That was a dope house. That was definitely they kept tearing it up.
Yeah, they did. They really did. Like, I kept thinking, damn, Jennifer Garner is gonna come back home in 2022 and be pissed at that little boy.
Exactly. Like,
they tore this house up, even if it's just for a second.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm
So,
definitely sure she came back and was like, "What in
oh
the hell?"
God, what am I gonna do with this boy? She looking for them Felucia, what
Right,
is it?
right. Definitely sent him to boarding
Military
school now.
school, boarding schools.
Exactly, exactly. She said that was her favorite scene. Yeah,
That was a good scene.
they.
So the next scene also is very powerful, in my
Yeah,
opinion. It's a very powerful scene because, they in the house and they standing there, and at the time you're thinking, well, what if this does affect the future in the pot? Because at this point I'm thinking, well, maybe they daddy won't die now, because I mean, granted, they never alluded to Soren killing him, but I kind of still think she had something to do with it because she said she killed his mama twice.
Oh yeah, he killed. Yeah, he killed the wife twice. Yeah,
Yeah, killed his mama twice. So
Yeah,
I was like, maybe she did have something to do with his death, you
right,
know?
right.
And so I was like, well, maybe he won't die now. Man, maybe they can tell him because maybe he can, you know what I'm saying? But he was like, he didn't want to know. And I was like, oh Lord, now they about to be crying and my ass gonna be crying too. So,
Right.
but it was this beautiful scene of him, you know, telling his older son what he needed to hear to heal,
Right,
what
right,
he needed to hear to release the pain that he felt, telling him that he was proud of him, telling him that he loved him, telling him that he was his boy, telling him all of this stuff, and just watching him crumble because he has needed to hear that for so long. Oh Lord,
right.
I'm about to cry. But that was a really beautiful moment, and it's just that so many people could use that in
Yeah,
life, and it's not something that people get. And it was just a beautiful moment to watch somebody let go of all of that hurt that they carried for so long, and it coming from exactly the person that they needed to hear it from,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely,
because
definitely.
only he could heal that, only he could feel that hole, only him saying that would be good enough for him to be able to be what he said: live your life,
Hmm.
move on, you are okay. It was just beautiful. It's a beautiful
Yeah, no,
moment.
I teared up on the second watch too. I was like, oh man, like this is. I mean, and like you said, it's that's what you want when you're missing that parental love or that parental, acceptance and that kind of thing. It was definitely one of those moments that definitely was emotional, was definitely needed, and it was what his character needed, what he was searching for all his life, and things that he had suppressed, thinking that he didn't have any of that love at all. Like Sunny said, yes, that was a powerful moment. She said, yeah, no, not the mom. She killed Adam's wife twice.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, my
yeah.
bad.
And so yeah, it was just that he definitely he knew that as a young boy he was doing the mother wrong, and he suppressed all that about the father until the boy brought it back to his memory. Like, look, this is not how things went. You were, you know, there was love in this house. It wasn't everything we wanted it to be, but it was what we had.
Right.
And then, like you said, the father was able to say, "Hey, I do love you. I do. This is, this I may not have been perfect, but I gave you all I could give you. And I did put in an effort. And always, you'll always be my son. That was powerful. That was powerful. So
Yeah, it was. I
definitely.
cried for about a good 30 minutes after I could not get myself together.
Oh.
Woo, this movie wrecked my ass. Woo, it wrecked me, child. That was woo, I ain't never seen nothing like that. That wasn't no like Tyler Perry movie. You know
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
what
yeah. I
I'm
mean, for a sci-fi movie, that was pretty heavy for a sci-fi movie, for sure. For
saying?
sure. So definitely,
That is not what I came here for.
yeah. Definitely. So yeah, so we got to watch them play catch, and then after they had one of them threw the ball to the dad, and they disappeared into the ethos. So it was man, it was a great movie, lots of great scenes. Sonny said I was ready to cry when they was playing catch. I know, right? I was too. That was a great scene too. Made me feel bad for not playing catch with my son more. But we played a lot of video games. He was into video games, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Once again, we think we didn't do enough, and it's like, no, I did enough.
Yeah.
I did what my son wanted.
Comparison, though, because that's what I think was happening to Ryan Reynolds' character. Is like you don't remember what they did do, and then you see what everybody else gets, and you compare it to what you didn't get, or what you didn't give, and then you feel like there was a lack, and then you create more of a lack than there may have been.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because of resentment.
Yep, exactly.
It's deep how we work. You know?
Yes, mind is a complex thing. Very complex thing. Yeah. For sure.
So we go back to, young Adam. I know. Is that his name? Yeah. Young Adam. And it's the moment where we realize, okay, so daddy did go ahead and die. Anyway.
Yeah.
Mama's still going through. He's still acting like a butthead. But it's like, I was like, oh, he had deja vu. And he brought himself back and he gave her a hug. Yeah. And then they had this great little fight scene moment. And I was crying again. Lord. And then Zoe, you go to grown Adam.
Right.
And here comes Zoe Saldana walking in the wrong damn classroom.
Right.
And I guess I don't know if he had a deja vu moment or he just never forgot her. I don't know what it was with him. But when he said, I found you, I got you. Right. I was just like, oh, okay.
I know, right? So I need somebody to be like me to do to me what Ryan Reynolds did to Zoe.
You gonna walk me? Where you gonna walk me? You gonna walk me down the aisle? That's where you walking me.
Exactly.
Oh man, it's beautiful.
So definitely great movie, great ending, great story, very well written, very well put together. Definitely, I mean, this movie could have killed it at the box office for sure. I'm pretty sure it's going to win an award or two.
His stories do well if he has good actors playing the characters.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a testament too to because I believe this is one of Ryan Reynolds' productions too, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, it's definitely testament to his movie picking skills in terms of how he picks movies to produce as well as star in. So
Ryan Reynolds is the man, though. Free Guy was good too. I mean, it wasn't good as this, but Free Guy was good too.
I want to see Free Guy. I haven't watched it yet, so yeah, I definitely want to check that out very soon here. Even though we didn't do a Marvel show today, we got a lot of Marvel connections. Basically, 2/3 of the cast is all Marvel.
Yeah, Jennifer Garner was in a Marvel movie.
Jennifer Garner played Elektra.
Yes,
in the 2003 Elektra movie.
And the Daredevil.
Marvel, it wasn't a Marvel Studios production, but it was a Marvel movie, a Marvel Pictures movie, as well as she was in the original Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck. So
that's probably where they met.
Yeah, exactly. Also, as we know, Zoe Saldana played Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy and in the Avengers 3 and 4. Mark Ruffalo plays the Incredible Hulk in all of the MCU movies, the proper MCU canon timeline. He's the Incredible Hulk. Ryan Reynolds plays Deadpool. He's actually played Deadpool in both. He played Weapon X11, Weapon X1, Weapon 11, and in the
Wolverine.
Fox universe of the
Wolverine movie.
Yeah, the Wolverine and X-Men, the X-Men movies. So he played Wade Wilson in that and Weapon 11, and then moved over to playing Deadpool, the official Deadpool in the Fox movies, as well as now MCU since Disney bought Fox out. So he'll be Deadpool in there as well. And then there was also, what was it? In the, where is it at? Where is it at? Oh yeah. At when they started playing catch, some eagle eye viewers caught on the lid of the bucket. When he opened the bucket, there was a Deadpool sticker and a Incredible Hulk sticker.
Wow.
Lowe's Incredible Hulk sticker on that.
I missed that.
Yeah, I totally missed that too. Yeah, I saw it the second time, but I totally missed it the first time. You literally got to pause it to catch it. You got to pause it to catch it. So yeah, so it was dope Easter egg people found. And one last piece of trivia: Walker Scobell is apparently a Deadpool super fan. He totally memorized the entire Deadpool 2 movie script before he was cast in the Atom Project. So definitely lots of Marvel connections there.
I don't think he should have been doing that, but okay.
I know, right? I was thinking the same thing. He was probably like 10 or 8 when that movie came out.
Yeah, I think it's also a little bit funny that every time he was about to cuss and Ryan was in a shot with him, he like cut him off before he said the cuss word.
Exactly. I noticed that too. That was hilarious.
Oh yeah. No, that movie is great. That's a classic grade A action film.
Yes.
That everyone should have and watch.
Yes.
It's great.
Indeed. So
I love how they making these movies now that are not Marvel, that are actually like rivaling what Marvel is doing. Like that everything, everywhere, all around.
I mean, well, you got to think, everybody, Marvel is raised the bar when it comes to making blockbuster movies. They forced a lot of genres to have to step their game up, and say, you know what, we just can't keep half doing these movies. We have to have good stories, good character development, great character development, which is what's sad about the DCEU in terms of its failure to
movies
that format.
Movies though, just the movies,
just the movies, yeah, exactly, just the movies. The TV shows are fine. The TV shows, the animations, all that stuff is fine. It's just the movies.
Batman was good though.
Which one? Oh, the Batman. Yes, the Batman was amazing.
I really just like the emotional connection. Actually, like seeing him work through those emotions and actually speaking on them instead of turning it into a fight. Because in Batman Begins, when he had those revelations about like moving past his past, it was all a fall down, get up, versus like, no, let's talk about this actually. And let's talk about how we feel and how we need to move forward and how I got so lost in my quest of vengeance that I've created a monster. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I also like the character interactions between him and Catwoman and like the Penguin, and it felt more similar to how they developed the Gotham series versus how we've seen some previous Batman movies go, in terms of we saw them develop these characters as real characters, as real people, versus these caricatures of these villains, right? So with the exception of Batman, we really just kind of knew these people as just were people that had things going on, this criminal enterprise, or this loss of a father and a mother to violence, to this person who needed to get revenge for their mother's death, and so all these different people. But
also finding out it's deeper than that. Actually,
everything is deeper than that. Exactly,
and making it make more sense why he would still be on that quest after all these years.
Exactly, and the thing with the family, him finding out the things about his family. So it was like these new revelations. That's another thing I appreciated, because I'm one of those big people. I mean, I know it's not a lot of us, but that I'm tired of all these Batman origin movies, but this one was a little different in that, we got to see a little different take on some of these characters that we've grown to think we know, and they did something a little different with it. So I definitely like that. The only thing I didn't like was that he was never Bruce Wayne in this movie. Like he was Bruce
No, he was
Wayne.
an asshole. He was
Yeah,
a
he was Bruce Wayne for about two scenes, and in only about half the scenes of half the part of the scenes of that. But he made a great Batman. I just felt like he made a really great Batman. I keep telling folks like he's up there to me, up there with Christian Bale and
You're not the only one. That's
and
the consensus.
Michael Keaton. Like I still consider Michael Keaton my favorite because he was a great Batman and he was a great
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne. Bale was a great Batman and a good Bruce Wayne. I feel like Pattinson is a great like a awesome Batman. We didn't really get to see him be Bruce Wayne really, but he was an awesome Batman.
But I think that was the point of the movie. I don't
Yeah,
think he was supposed to be a good Bruce
exactly. Yeah,
Wayne.
and you're right, 100%.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't think, and that's why at the end, when we find out what is happening and everybody's coming in and everybody's vengeance and all these things is happening, it's kind of like,
mhm.
oh, you have to be a human to do this job as well. If
Yeah,
all you are is the Batman, your point will be missed
right.
in what you're actually trying to do. And what you're trying to do won't ever make a dent because you can instill fear, but what else is there? People gonna be scared and they still gonna do what they gonna do.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and you making it okay for them to then instill fear in other people and do what they want to do. So I thought it was an interesting concept watching him be so consumed in his mission for vengeance that he forgot what being a human being was. And it was very clear that he had no longer understood what it meant to be a decent human being, even though he was on a quest to protect the city.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Yeah, so definitely everybody go check out the Batman with Robert Pattinson and what is her name?
Zoe Kravitz.
Zoe Kravitz. Yep, and Zoe Kravitz. Definitely a great movie. One of the best Batman films that have been made in the last 8 years, 7 years. So definitely a good look. Definitely excited to see what they do with it next. I was a little disappointed to see who they're using for the Joker, but
Me too, I am.
yeah, because I was hoping they were going to give us give us
Because we don't need another Joker either.
I know, right? Because that Joker movie, top notch.
Yeah, we definitely don't need another Joker.
Yeah,
I mean, the last two people who played the Joker did what they needed to do. I
yeah,
think every person who has ever played the Joker has always done what was necessary. So
yeah.
we definitely don't need another Joker. And I didn't like how he played the character anyway.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah, I didn't either. A couple people were like, "I'm so happy about it" in the different reviews I saw, and I'm like, "Really?" Like,
It's because of Jared Leto, but
yeah,
that's
yeah. I
neither
mean,
here nor there.
yeah, a lot of people haven't really liked that, what he's done with it. But it's like, but still, I like, Joaquin, and I love Joaquin, and
Heath and Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger is just going to go down in history as one of the best Jokers that ever did it. So
Jack Nicholson.
yeah, Jack Nicholson for sure. Jack Nicholson, like he's probably still no. Heath Ledger's my favorite, but Jack Nicholson is right up there with him. Right up there with him. And then
Man, you scared the mess out of me, but I
yeah,
loved it. I
yeah.
loved it.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because Joaquin wasn't really the Joker. He just was getting into becoming the Joker.
Yeah,
That's what made
yeah.
it so beautiful.
And that's why he should have been in the Batman, because the Batman was just becoming the Batman. So he
Exactly.
should,
That's what I thought
yeah,
too. I was like, this will be perfect to merge
yeah.
those two worlds and just, that people would love it. I think
Oh
people.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
We still got a chance. They can retcon it. They can retcon it. We didn't really see his
But
face.
that's why I don't think they put his face in there, because they still trying to. I think the studio wants them to do that. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's why they didn't put his face, because they can easily go back and say, okay, we're just gonna do something different.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. For sure. For sure. So yeah. Next week we'll be back here doing Moon Knight episodes 1 and 2. I haven't watched episode 2 yet, but it already looks very interesting from the trailers. Definitely looking forward to that. I just saw that they just released I don't know if it was a teaser trailer or some more footage of Miss Marvel. So
Yeah, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, and Doctor Strange has another official trailer. That movie I think drops very shortly here. So
Yeah,
right.
I'm behind on my movies. I didn't even know Morbius had came out.
Yeah, Morbius just dropped last week, or no, earlier this week. So yeah, it's oh no, last week. So it'll be last week, last Friday, or last Thursday. So yeah, so definitely go check out Morbius. I haven't watched it yet. I'm definitely going to check that out. Try to make sure I see it before it gets to streaming.
I gotta see what Spider-Man is in there.
Yeah, I'm looking for. I've been trying to avoid all the spoilers, avoid all the talks about it. So because I definitely want to see what actually happens before I get to before I
Doctor
get
Strange.
to the recaps and all that.
Yeah.
Then I want to see Doctor Strange. I have not watched any Doctor Strange trailers. I've not watched besides the original teaser trailer. I know people have been talking about what's in it, and I'm like, nope, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about
Yeah,
it.
I didn't watch this one because I said, by y'all gonna been the gay the whole damn movie away. I don't
Exactly.
want to watch no more.
Yeah, they tried to do that with Spider-Man, so I was like, no, I'm not watching all those trailers. Once I saw that the teaser was out, I was happy because it meant it was coming out soon, and that's all I needed. I was good. I was good from there, So same thing, Miss Marvel. I'm gonna watch the teaser. If it's over, a minute, I'm not watching it. I don't need them 2 minute long giving away everything trailers. I just need a half a minute just so I can see how it's gonna flow. And I'm good enough. So the TV shows are a little different. I don't mind watching some of those trailers because it's hard to because you can never gauge what part of the story they're doing. I mean, these are 6.5, 8.5, 9.5 hour long movies, so it's easier to watch those trailers and still be surprised versus watching a 2 minute, 2.5 minute clip of every important
About
scene
3 hour
of the
movie.
movie of a 2 hour movie, and you being like just spoiled. So
Right.
but yeah, so make sure you guys get back with us. We'll be back here for more review and recap, and we'll definitely keep you guys abreast of what's going on with the Moon Knight series. We're going to do that entire series. We'll do Doctor Strange when it drops, as well as we might even do Morbius if it's worth it.
Yeah.
We definitely got to see. We got to see. We got to see. I'm a little worried about that one because that's a full-on Sony movie. It's not really the MCU movie, so we'll see. And I think they're kind of trying to do too much from what I've kind of heard. Appreciate it, DJ Stacey J. Appreciate you jumping in. Appreciate you, Sonny, for joining in as well. Appreciate that.
Thank y'all.
We're glad to be back. So yeah, it's Chevy. Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me at Chevy the Superstar on Twitch tomorrow. We will be reviewing Masters on Amazon Prime at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at S the Superstar.
For sure. And it's your boy Willie Stylez in the building. Get at me everywhere at Willie Stylez on IG and Twitter, on Willie.Stylez on Snapchat and TikTok. Find me over at gamingwithstyles.com. We're playing games. Well, I've been watching a lot of funny videos, so I've been posting a lot of those over there. So you can still find hilarious content over at Gaming with Styles, as well as some of my old video playing games, or video game playing videos. Say that 5 times fast. Check me out over at stylesradio.com for all the hot tracks that I'm listening to. WillieStyles.info for all my links. Make sure you guys go over to gftradio.creator-spring.com. Get some merchandise. You see, I got a shirt on. I got one of our OG shirts on, the See Y'all in 7 Days shirts. We haven't gone 7 days without a show in a long time, so it's always see you in a couple of days. But definitely go check out that merchandise. We got t-shirts, sweatshirts, masks, all kinds of stuff. We probably don't need masks anymore, but we got all that kind of stuff. Make sure you check out our social media sites over at GFT_radio on Twitter and Instagram, GFT Radio on Twitch, GFT Radio Network on Facebook. Join the conversation group over at facebook.com/groups/GFT. Join the conversation. We've had a lot of great topics in the last couple of weeks here, so make sure y'all go check those out. Listen free on demand. We got all of our audio replays 24/7 free on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or watch the video replays over at Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. anytime you want to watch them. We've been posting a lot of our favorite old shows, so make sure y'all go check those out. I just posted a couple of shows myself. I know Sonny did as well, and Smooth is always posting some of his favorites over on his Twitter and his Facebook page. So make sure y'all check those out. Chevy, appreciate you. Appreciate you guys for watching, and we will see y'all next week. Holla.
Bye.